So I was watching this Geeks of Gamers video, and he's discussing how there's these rumours that Lucasfilm are going to make a trilogy based on the Old Republic, and I'm really excited about that. I think most Star Wars fans are. This could be a great trilogy. But what this spells out to me is just the whole frustration of what Kathleen Kennedy has done. Because Geeks Gamers, he points out that he really doubts that Lucasfilm can actually deliver a good movie or a good trilogy, regardless of what it's based on. And just to clarify the whole situation, what Kathleen Kennedy did, she introduced Rey to Star Wars, and she wanted Rey to be the guiding light of Star Wars. And I was really excited myself to see a female lead character in Star Wars, because it was something new, it was something different, it was a new angle to see Star Wars from. But at the end of Force Awakens, and I really liked Force Awakens, I thought it was a really great movie. But at the end, the whole excitement was surrounding Snoke and Luke Skywalker. And Rey was kind of fourth or fifth in terms of importance and interest. And most people are kind of really switched off her. You know, many of the toys weren't selling. The whole excitement was about two male characters, Snoke and Luke Skywalker. And that obviously enraged Kathleen Kennedy. So she hired Rian Johnson to do a real hit job on men in The Last Jedi. So in The Last Jedi, men were vilified, made to look horrible people, Luke Skywalker's embarrassed, and Star Wars just turned into a pile of trash. You know, within one movie, Kathleen Kennedy essentially put Star Wars on life support. And that's why many fans, including myself and people like Geeks and Gamers, just really doubt what Lucasfilm or what Kathleen Kennedy can do. But the real shame is what this points out is Kathleen Kennedy's complete unprofessionalism and impatience. Because if she wasn't happy with what was happening with her personal agenda of putting women first in Star Wars, she could have just seen out the current trilogy and seen it as a way of moving on from the older characters like Han Solo, Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia. Now, in terms of Han Solo, Harrison Ford didn't want to be in Star Wars, and to me it looked like he's come back as a favour to George Lucas. So the way Han Solo died, it's kind of the best situation out of a difficult situation, because Harrison Ford didn't really want to be involved in it. So I think they did the best they could with that character. But now they're moving away from those characters because of their age. They can then create a new world, and they can go back, in this case the Old Republic, and what they can do essentially do is they can have 5 male characters and have 5 female characters and create an equal society. So it could actually be very reflective of planet Earth. So we could say, right, if we could go back in time 10,000 years and have real equality between men and women 10,000 years ago in the human race, what would it look like? And Star Wars, a new Star Wars trilogy, could be a representation of that, and it could be actually quite interesting to see, and perhaps even a landmark in the cinematic history where you have a number of characters who are both male and female, and there's no politics injected into it. There's no shoehorning of characters where you had Rose Tico, who was just horribly shoehorned into Star Wars trilogy and kind of ruined the whole thing. And that was Kathleen Kennedy who did that. She enforced this feminist agenda into The Last Jedi, which is really damaged Star Wars heavily, and that was her impatience and frustration. And as the Star Wars continues, as we see more and more movies coming out, you're going to see just how much she's damaged Star Wars. Even if Star Wars, you know, recovers and makes great movies without the politics in them, we'll be able to go back and look at The Last Jedi and just see how bad it was by comparing it to older movies like the original trilogy and future movies that haven't come out yet. But the exciting thing is that the 2 directors from Game of Thrones, they are used to directing a TV show which had strong female and strong male characters in terms of Daenerys and the male characters, and it worked really well. And that's one of the points of Game of Thrones that has brought so many fans. It seems to be equal between male and female characters. So it's an opportunity for Lucasfilm to create what they want, a world where there's strong female and strong male characters. But hopefully they'll do it without the politics. But with Kathleen Kennedy, was just more professional and patient, just waited until the current trilogy moved on and the characters like Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia and Han Solo had essentially died off because of their age, that she could have created a new world. But Kathleen Kennedy was so unprofessional and so impatient that she had to inject these politics into The Last Jedi, which has made major damage to Star Wars. So I can understand why people like Geeks and Gamers, and perhaps even yourself, are really frustrated at what's happening. And the future is going to spell out just how damaging Kathleen Kennedy has been. Now, the only answer, in my view, is to get rid of Kathleen Kennedy, because she has caused a huge amount of damage. But if you disagree or agree, please leave your comments below. But again, I can really understand how people like Geeks Gamers and perhaps even yourself are just so frustrated that there's this talk of the Old Republic turning into movie and people just aren't excited. There's no real excitement going about. There's no real buzz, and that's really sad. So again, let me know if you think in the comments below whether you agree or disagree.